Benin has provisionally lifted the ban of Niger's export oil to China. Now, this is an update and, of course, a breaking news. After we updated you, we analyzed for you yesterday how did Benin decide to ban the export of Niger oil. Hello, I am Mahlet, Ayele, your host at Connect Africa, bringing you the latest from the continent and particularly from the Sahel region, as we are so passionate and excited for the development that these countries are making. We have been reporting to you since their revolution. Now, since last night, in a few hours after I came here and I reported to you the ban of the export of Niger's oil by Benin, now we have heard that the Minister of Benin has come out and said they have now provisionally or conditionally have lifted the ban of export oil, this Niger's oil export. Okay, now why did this happen? What was the motivation behind for Benin to decide just like that? And secondly, what is really the solution? What do we suggest as as a Pan-African media platform for countries like Niger, who are landlocked and who are ambitious to develop? Now, those are the things, a couple of things that I'm going to look at. Now, the reason that the Minister of Benin came out and said conditionally we have lifted that. I mean, I'm talking like him. This ban is because he said, I'm going to quote what he said. He said, we have decided to authorize the loading of the first vessel in our waters. However, it's important to note that this authorization is provisional. Now, this was the minister, Adambi, or Samu Seydou Adambi, who told, reporters after a meeting with the Chinese investors in Benin or in Cotonou. Now, this is the key word. This is where the answer for, how did Benin decide? What is the motivation for them to decide this? So again, as we said yesterday, Benin's decision to ban Niger's export oil, which was supposed to be exported to China, was because they were more loyal to the European Union than their brothers and sisters of the Nigerian people or the Nigerian government, which actually they're abided by ECOWAS and other types of agreements that are made within the continent. Okay, they violated that because they wanted to be loyal to the European Union. And after the EU Council President Charles Michel has visited just in end of April, and they pledged the 47 million euro to Benin, to use it in their fights against terrorism. Now, after 10 days, they come and said, oh, no, we are banning the export of, which, they have made a peace with Niger, and they unilaterally lifted the sanction even before ECOWAS. Now, that was the reason, for the banning. Now, to lift was also, again, Benin once again betrayed Niger. They are lifting this sanction, this banning of Niger's oil export to China, not because they wanted rectify themselves and say, okay, we're going to be abide by the agreements that we have signed as both the trade agreements that these countries have bilaterally between Benin and Niger, but not because also they wanted, they recognize their mistake. It's because that they wanted, they did not want to lose their Chinese investors, because this happened with the mediation of China. The Chinese who are in Benin right now mediating this thing have made it to be solved, because this is going to be, the oil is going to be exported to China. Now, Europe and in general in the West did not like Niger's move to export their oil to China instead of Europe, who is now hungry for energy after they destroyed that pipeline under the water because of the war between Russia and Ukraine. You remember? Now, and also Niger has trashed out, they canceled that trans-Saharan pipeline, which includes Nigeria, Niger, and Algeria. Okay, now after the revolution, they have also canceled out that. So now they are making now their own routes, their own way to say that, okay, we are independent, and they have cut all their relation with their former colonizer France in every aspect. They're free now. They are really exercising their freedom, not only physically, by removing the French military and ambassadors and the media who is violating and intervening in the sovereignty affair, in the country's affair, but also really proving that they are free economically, that they can decide what they want, what benefits for their nation, and that this move, to export their oil to China, that's what it moved now, because these Sahel Alliance countries, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, are now they are strengthening their ties with those countries as opposed to the West, like China, Russia, you call it, Iran, the United Arab Emirates, and others, who are there. I'm not in support of, from going to want to the next one, to be dominated, but at least if they are in their control of their own resource and to be able to say, to choose what they want, that is something powerful, because they ended up with China because China pledged this $400 million to pay their loan, because IMF and World Bank, or the European Union that used to fund them to Niger, is not now funding them. Okay, so they got that money, and China, they gave them the equivalent money. It is so in exchange that Niger will be exporting this oil for 12 consecutive months. So that is the equal of $400 million. Okay, now this is what they are trying to halt the Beninese government. This is something that benefits the people of Niger. It's not just for the government. So once again, so my point is, the reason or the motivation for Benin to decide this just overnight like that is because, again, they are proving to us they are more loyal to the non-African than their African brothers and sisters. Really, they are doing it in the pretext of that their relation, bilateral relation between Benin and Niger, have to be improved, because Niger did not open the border, although Benin has done it. But Niger has a concern because they know what they experienced before when the French military wanted, or the French government wanted to intervene in Niger, in the using ECOWAS, the ECOWAS military. And they know how the French military was coming or landing in Benin and coming to the border of Benin. So immediately, Niger has cut its military tie with Benin. So it has its own security concern. However, even if they cut that military tie, they did not cut their trade relations, their trade bilateral relations. So that's why the Prime Minister of Niger, when he came out on Saturday and told us that Benin is violating the agreement between the two countries, he was right. And also Benin is on the, it's also a double betrayal or violation, because Benin is also now what it is doing is it's violating the relation between Niger and China with regards to this oil export, because they know that Niger is a landlocked country, and they know that they are going to use the port of Cotonou, and China already has built a 2,000 kilometer oil pipeline to the port of Cotonou from Agadez, which is a part in Niger, to be exported to the port, to reach to the port of Cotonou, and then to China. Okay, so this is what Benin was doing, being loyal, betraying an African country for at the expense of the people of Africa and the people of Niger, to be specific, to serve their previous colonizer, or even still their colonizer interest. Okay, now France is operating through the European Union. Now again, it's okay that the Chinese, I'm not against that the Chinese have mediated this, but it just, the principle of it, again, you are proving, because you did not want, these are Chinese investors in Benin, you do not want to lose those Chinese investors in your country. That's why you are doing, not really because Benin has known the level or has recognized the level of violations that it has committed by banning this Niger export oil. So that was as much as the reason behind for this provisionally, as they say, the export of the oil, Niger's oil, to China. And the other thing I want to look at is now, what is, later on I'm going to show you a video, I'm going to play a video of 1 minute what the Minister of Benin said. Now, what I want to actually, my second message on this video will be, there should be a permanent solution for landlocked countries, and especially those who are struggling, who are on their journey to get their freedom of economy, their economy. So every time when a next country is not serving or is serving the West and doing this at the expense of African people, again, Niger will become a victim, and other African countries. I mean, Ethiopia is facing the same thing as well. Now, so there should be, they have to look for a longer solution, a long-term solution. So I think with my limited reading, what I think is better to do is that to focus on networks, strengthening and building more infrastructure that strengthen their network of train or railway, and also roads. These are the things they need to work on. That will be a long-term solution for countries like Niger and other landlocked countries. And also, to use on already signed platforms or, programs of the African Union, like the African Continental Free Trade Area, which really will have a role in solving the problem of landlocked countries. So they have signed that. Niger is one of the countries that have ratified it. They have signed it, and they have actually all 47 countries have ratified the African Continental Free Trade Area agreement. And now those who did not sign are actually 54 countries. The one who did not sign is Eritrea. All of them, 47 of them out of 55 have ratified it, but the one who did not ratify is that, of course, okay, there is Eritrea, there is Benin as well, very interesting, and Liberia, Libya, Madagascar, Somalia, South Sudan, and Sudan. So these are the countries that are not, that have not ratified yet. Hopefully they will. So this kind of platforms, to force or pressure this kind of agreements to go into action and cooperate, to go into action will be really beneficiary for the country's struggle to be independent in their economy. So that was it for now. I just wanted to update you on this one. Thank you very much again for tuning in. It means a lot for those of you, who support us in various ways through our PayPal and other means. Thank you for all your comments. But before I forget, let me just play, this video. Okay, Kurtz Edward, he just said, I hope Niger keeps their borders closed from Benin. Benin, along with their colonizer, France is destabilizing the unity of the continent, kicked France out of the whole of Africa. Yeah, I wish they do. But let me just play this video. What the Minister of Benin said.
I am the General Director of the House of Benin. As part of the construction and operation of the Benin-Niger pipeline project, we have signed a bilateral agreement that sets the general conditions governing the construction and exploitation of the pipeline in the territories of Niger and Benin. According to Article 3.1 of the bilateral agreement, the right of transit for crude oil coming from Nigerian territory on Benin territory is granted to the state of Niger. It is by virtue of this right that all other agreements and legal instruments have been put in place. In accordance with the spirit of the agreement, The state of Niger and the state of Benin are guarantors of the transit system's operation. The right of transit granted to Niger allows shippers of crude oil originating from Niger to transport it through Benin. Benin intends to honor all agreements signed within this framework. A letter was sent by the Nigerian Douane to the Beninese Douane for the participation of a senior Nigerian delegation in the loading operations as planned by the agreements. Therefore, we decided to authorize the loading of the ship anchored in our port. This indicates that Benin has no intention of violating the agreements or the interests of the state or its partners. However, it is important to note that this authorization is punctual and provisional, as mentioned in the letter from the Nigerian authorities.
So, as you have heard, that's what the Minister of Benin said, making it clear this is provisional. And also, they have done this because he's saying that we are not violating this and that, but they did violate. And you see that the Chinese guy over there, so you can see who facilitated this. Really, I hope Benin will revise what it did and give this a permanent permission for Niger to be able to export its oil to China using the port of Cotonou. That's Pan-Africanism, really, and something that they have to do, really. So thank you again. Let us know in the comment section, what do you think of the move by Benin? Another comment is, okay, there can't be a United States of Africa if we have puppet of African leaders like this Benin leader in the way of yeah. I mean, I really hope that Benin will come to its senses, that and President Talon will, as he was very quick to come and to lift the ban or the sanction unilaterally, regardless of ECOWAS, that he will be quick now to say, okay, we have made a mistake and you can use our port. We are never going to violate or stop you from exporting this. The benefit is, it's not for free, by the way. Let's not sound, if I make it sound like that, really, I'm sorry, but it's not for free. I mean, they pay Benin also, and Benin gets a benefit, but of course they make a choice and who to serve. That's the thing. It's a bio for me for now, and I'll see you on the next one.